Welcome back to Some Offense Intended. I'm Jeremy Robinson,
I am Mike Mick.
and this is take two because I was messing around with plugging in this new mouse, and the camera came unplugged several times while we were trying to do the first recording.
Yes.
Thankfully, it was the first 40 seconds, so
Yes, we didn't get too far in.
Not that big of a deal.
Not like we got halfway through the episode and had to start over.
Yeah, we'd have had to do it a different time.
Yeah.
So I cut my hair and trimmed my beard.
It's looking good.
That is still me.
It is him. He has not been replaced.
I had to snap my hat. I had to move it one full snap because of how much hair I removed.
Yes.
Had to adjust the headphones a decent bit because it's not.
Yeah, it's a lot less.
Yeah, a lot less. I think it goes one full size down in motorcycle helmets too. When I go from long hair to no hair.
Damn.
It's a full size in a motorcycle helmet. So
do you have an extra helmet?
I haven't been riding.
Yeah, well, I figured you will be at some point.
Yeah. No, there was supposed to be somebody that came and picked up the bike today. He was messaging me on, I think it was Saturday. And he's like, yeah, I'm for sure going to come get it at I think it was, we decided on noon or 12:30 on today, on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, cool. I'll text you at 11. I told him the rough area where I am.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll text you at 11 on Monday and give you my address. He goes, okay, that sounds perfect. Less than 2 hours later, I'm going to buy a different bike, thanks. I'm like, bro, what? You said you were at work. If I knew, hey, come get it right now was an option, I might have left for work late that day to sell him the fucking bike.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, Jesus Christ. Whatever.
Yeah, well, it's his loss.
Yeah.
Somebody will get it. I know it.
So, either that or I'll just start riding it. If nobody's going to fucking buy it, I'll ride it and then sell it later. Because bikes keep their value pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully somebody will buy it soon. You'll make a decent amount of money on it. I did notice your energy drink. Does that say C4 energy on there?
Yes.
Now, I know that C4 has a lot of energy, but I don't think it's the kind of energy you want. I don't think you want to explode.
You don't know.
Well, don't do it when you're flying.
There's so C4 they started as a workout company, a pre-workout.
Yeah.
And there's another one, I don't know if it's them or someone else, that they have a supplement called NO Explode. So I think it's actually the same company, Carnicin, or whatever the fuck they're called.
Oh.
But yeah, so they have multiple different, it's like the nitric oxide supplement, so.
Yeah, just don't explode.
Nah, probably not. So there's more conspiracy theories. You ready for them?
I'm ready.
The Maui thing.
Oh, I've heard so many. Aliens, China.
Well, aliens, I haven't heard much on that one. Just somebody's aliens. And that's roughly where that conspiracy stops. One of them is Oprah had a hand in it because Oprah's been amassing a massive amount of land on Maui.
Yeah.
I think it was 5 years ago she had 100 acres. Now she has over 1,000.
Damn.
It was previous to the fire. She had 1,000.
Yeah.
And so there was Oprah and The Rock were asking people to donate to help Maui. When, we had talked about a little bit, I don't know if it was last week or 2 weeks ago, that a lot of the donations were actually being stunted and not allowed to be distributed to Maui to help people, whether it was food or money or whatever. It was being all withheld. Or nobody said why. It was just all being withheld. So something about Oprah and The Rock, I think they each donated $5 million to help Maui.
Yeah.
And I read something just real quick about one of them might have lied about their donation, or I don't know. So I didn't go down that rabbit hole that much.
Yeah.
But there's a couple conspiracy theories based around Oprah wanting to get more land because apparently most of her 1,000 acres wasn't touched from the fire.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that are on Maui that actually appreciate how Oprah is doing stuff with the land, because she's hiring locals to do whatever, like she's creating jobs and not like creating high rises, and she's leaving the land.
That's impressive. Most people don't do that when they buy.
Yeah, exactly. So I think part of it's farming, part of it's this. So she's actually like respecting that part. So there's a lot of people that are like, no, she's actually doing really well.
I respect that then.
So that part of the conspiracy theory, not too sure about.
Yeah.
Like, it is kind of suspicious. It's weird. Like, I mean, people get real estate.
Yeah.
And then if they find somewhere they like, they get a lot of real estate. So maybe it's that, because she lives there part-time.
Oh, I knew that.
It's not just a vacation house.
She's been living there for a long time.
So that's one of them. The bigger one, and I actually just heard somebody talking about this when I was at physical therapy for my shoulder today. So this is a very, I think, well-believed one, is directed energy weapons. DEWs. It's basically like the microwave, laser beam, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Because I guess they've done tests, and the fire burns so hot from a directed energy weapon that it'll almost burn itself out before it can travel. So, like, they've hit houses with tests of the directed energy weapon. It'll completely incinerate the house, like down to the guts, quote unquote. And then, like, the trees around it will be fine. The trees will be yellowed slightly, but the trees won't burn. Like, that's how impressive and focused this can be.
That is impressive.
So there's pictures of throughout, like, where the fire rampaged, of some trees are fine and some blue objects are fine. And I guess that's part of the conspiracy theory too, is that with either the frequency or like however the directed energy weapon that they're talking about works, of like lasers, it doesn't react with blue because of the frequencies of the laser or the microwaves. So, like, there's some things that aren't affected, and most of them are blue. A lot of the trees aren't affected. Like, it's a weird... I still think it's weird that, like, the cops are arresting people for trying to help each other, and, like, there's a lot of weird going on around that whole
I don't know what's
situation.
going on over there. And then the way the president reacted to it, that's all...
We have one of those?
Well, we have somebody who was doing a speech in Vietnam recently, or doing a press conference, and was like, I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to bed.
That's what he said?
Yeah. They cut the press conference. They're like, oh, no, we told them we were only going to take a handful of questions. They cut the press conference after he said that.
He did a press conference in Vietnam and said, I'm going to go to bed?
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I'm going to go to bed. Yeah, I saw the video today.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, that's... Yeah, because they were talking to Robert Kennedy Jr., and he was talking about how the DNC is running this campaign and how they're not allowing really anybody to run against him, basically.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, they're making the votes for anybody other than him not really count. That's the way he was saying it.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I saw it on one of the news networks today. He was also talking about the assassination of his uncle, and how there was an article in the paper about there being more than one gunman. I guess New York Times finally actually jumped on board and said, maybe there was something else.
That's because the CIA finally had to declassify documents that said there was more than one.
Yeah.
And with all the videos that have surfaced recently, have you seen the videos?
Not lately, no.
There's a slowed down... I mean, it's super old video footage. So
I've seen the old video that they had from
grainy.
the movie where you could see his head just fucking explode.
But his wife tries to climb, like, out the back of the convertible.
Yeah.
And, like, 2 frames before she starts to do that, you see a flash coming from the front passenger, the shotgun position.
Mm-hmm.
You see a flash come from right there. Like, it could have been the Secret Service guy or whoever the fuck was riding shotgun in the car.
Yeah.
It could have been him. Because there was a slight flash.
Yeah.
And then she tries to climb away out the back. Like, what? There's a couple easier ways to climb out of a car, to get out of a car, than
What if
to
you're trying
try
to
to
get
climb
away
over
from-
the back.
If you're trying to get away from somebody shooting, you might go.
Exactly. You're going to go directly away from them, which is not forward. You go backward.
Yeah.
So
I see when I was in high school, I remember one of my teachers had told me the reason she was climbing out the back is because she was getting his brain. And I thought, wow.
I mean,
But
maybe like a couple minutes later, that immediate, I don't think so.
that was a little.
Yeah.
I didn't because most of the footage I'd seen at that point, you didn't know part of his brain actually exited his head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see any of the newer the videos I saw later on.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
But yeah, you mentioned conspiracy, and I saw that today.
Huh.
So, did you have any notes you wanted to?
That was kind of the main one.
Yeah. Well, I'd heard a lot about it. I heard about one that didn't make sense to me because I don't know a lot about some of the things in Hawaii, some of the beliefs. But somebody said a creature attacked the island.
What?
Yeah. Like I said, it didn't make any sense to
I
me.
haven't heard that one.
And you would think there'd be footage or pictures because everybody has a fucking phone.
So there was more like explanation behind some of these conspiracy theories on like why it happened in general.
Mm-hmm.
It's been suggested that like Lahaina which is one of the major cities on Maui, was scheduled to be like implementing a lot of smart city, quote unquote, items.
Yeah.
Whether, I don't know how like smart city they're trying to go, if it's like Minority Report of like retinal scans to get on the fucking subway, or I don't know how smart they're trying to go with it. But with such old infrastructure, that would be fairly difficult to implement.
Yeah.
And with, hey, look, now there's nothing. Let's rebuild it smart. Is one of the main reasons fueling a lot of the conspiracies. Because you look at any sci-fi movie, any of this, any of that, like you find a planet, the first thing they do is terraform it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is just drop a nuke, basically, just flame the whole planet, and then start fresh.
Yeah, they did that in one of the Star Trek movies.
Yeah. So, like, I understand a lot behind it. And it's still weird. Like, because I think there was offers on properties while there was still smoke. Like, people were making offers on properties.
Actually, that doesn't surprise me. Figure you get it cheaper than.
Yeah, but that's
because the property over there is going to regain value pretty quick.
Yeah, and I mean,
because it's still Hawaii.
Business is business. Like, I guess that's like kind of the ethical and moral issue of like, you want to be fair. Like, it's a good deal. It's this, but I think it might depend on who, how much, how many, and when. Because I mean, there's a lot of people, like if somebody in the family dies and they inherit a house that they can't take care of, afford, do whatever. There's a lot of people that like read in the obituaries and go talk to the family and be like, hey, let me buy the house for $1. I know you're hurting right now. Like, that seems kind of weird and like ethically ambiguous to me.
Yeah, but it happens.
Because like maybe they are hurting, maybe they do need money, but how long do you wait to where it's okay? Or is it the like fair deal that makes it okay immediately? And what would be like fair deal? Because you're gonna have to be profitable if you're trying to do whatever with it. So at what point is it a fair deal?
Well, at the point that it happens, if somebody loses their house there that burns down, the people who are trying to make the offer, they figure they have to do it right away. They have to get in there because somebody else is going. If they don't do it, somebody else will.
Yeah.
So they're going to jump in and try to grab it right away. I'm not saying that it's great, but the person who just lost everything, they might want to get out of there.
A lot of them were trying to like just absolutely band together of like Lahaina doesn't sell, keep Hawaiian land in Hawaiian hands. Like they had a lot of different things that they were saying.
Yeah.
Like, we will rebuild, don't sell anything. There's a lot of people that were mad that there was offers coming in.
Yeah. Oh, I don't blame them. But I remember when I was in Hawaii, we were doing a tour of the island on a little Cessna.
Mm-hmm.
And we were waiting for the plane, and the lady was telling us about the island and how they'd gotten hit by a hurricane years before. And there's a lot of houses on the island. People were like, you know what, screw it, we're leaving it. And they just abandoned the houses. So they're just sitting there.
Wow.
And a lot of them actually moved to Vegas. Because I told her I was from Vegas, and she's like...
Yeah, there was always the nickname Vegas is like the 8th island or 9th, however many there are.
But she was like, you're from Vegas, why'd you come here? And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Because there's ocean and it's nicer weather.
I'm like, look outside, it's fucking beautiful. Of course there's a reason I went here. Don't get me wrong, there's some nice things in Vegas, but it's not Hawaii beautiful.
Yeah, it's like recently people have been asking me about like Reno versus Vegas. And I'm like, Lake Tahoe is fucking beautiful. I'm like, Vegas has Lake Mead and it has water, but Lake Tahoe is fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
And they're like, it takes them a while. They're like, you said Lake Mead has water? I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
It has water.
That's what
I'm like, it's greenish. It smells weird. It's a lot of stuff going on, but it's water.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's mafia left bodies in there.
Yeah. Oh, did you see
But there's that in
the
Tahoe
speedboat
too.
that was, if you're watching YouTube, the speedboat that was like angled up like this, that last year was all the way dry.
Yeah.
It's almost up. It's like maybe 6 inches to a foot from covering that boat up again.
Nice.
So it's
good. It's
starting
good to
refill.
see water. Yeah.
So that goes to basically what I was saying of, I think they did it on purpose, that they let Lake Mead get that low so they could renegotiate the deal of supplying a massive amount of water to California, who has water right next to them. Lots of it.
Yeah.
We want to talk about rising sea levels. How about you put a straw in that fucking sea level and pull it back down by desalinizing?
Yeah, desalinization.
Yeah, that one. Thanks.
Yeah, they've been talking about putting those plants in for a long time.
They have some.
But they need more.
They stopped. We talked about, I don't remember, it was a while ago, but we talked about this. They stopped doing it because they were fucking up the plant life and like the whole ecosystem because they were dumping the salt back in the fucking ocean.
Yeah, you don't do that.
You sell it.
Mm-hmm.
Give it away. Do something. I guarantee you can find people. I guarantee you can find people that will pick it up for free or pay for it.
Yeah.
In a massive quantities.
Well, you don't want to oversalinate the ocean. That's the thing.
Yeah, because it fucked up the whole ecosystem on that part of the
And there's a reason why.
coast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
there's a lake in California that's got too much salt in it, and
I
nothing.
thought you were gonna say Utah.
Well, there's that too. I was gonna mention that one, but no, there's
Salt Lake.
Yeah, I was gonna say that one, but no, I decided to shift gears and go to the one in California that I know about. That the only thing that's around it are these big flies. Like there's nothing lives in the water. Nothing can live in the, because there's too much salt in it.
It's like the Dead Sea.
Kind of like that.
Like you can almost walk on the water in the Dead Sea.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
It's so thick.
Yeah, there's so much salt there. Like fish can't live there. Nothing.
Huh.
And I remember somebody was telling me about it because I'd seen the lake. I'd seen a sign for the lake on my way to Yosemite. And then I'd never actually gone to it. And I was telling a regular guest at a restaurant I worked at, and he told me about these giant flies, just huge flies, just ridiculously big flies.
There was always massive flies at Okie Finokie Swamp in Florida when we went on vacation when we lived in Georgia.
Yeah.
These things were fucking huge.
That's what this guy was saying. These things are just massive.
They were horse flies, but they were
like he said,
you could just a tennis racket and you could just swat them.
He told me these things were bigger than horse flies, and horse flies are big.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was a little impressed by that one.
Yeah, you just grab a tennis racket. It doesn't even have to be one of the click, 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 the electric ones.
Yeah.
Just grab any tennis racket and you can just swat flies, just whacking them nonstop.
Yeah, you do the right kind, you can get right through. I've seen bugs go right through. I mean, like splat through it. It's not pretty. But another thing on wildlife, I checked our YouTube channel today.
Yeah.
And I was noticing that a particular episode, Jeremy scares a bear.
Yeah, it had like 70-something views.
76 views last time I looked. And it just made me think, I think you need to start scaring more animals. But why'd you have to start with a bear? I mean, because where do we go from a bear? I mean,
two bears.
Couldn't you be like a squirrel?
I could start with 2 bears next.
Yeah, well, now you have to scare an alligator, a shark, maybe a bison.
Okay.
I mean, we can't put an episode, Jeremy scares a squirrel.
Did you look at the average minutes viewed?
No, I haven't.
Because I haven't. Because that's like, it can have 1 million views, but if it's like 3 seconds average viewed,
yeah,
it's okay. Come on, like watch a little bit more.
Yeah, I just thought it was
so.
It was just weird that's considerably more than some of the others.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the thumbnail or the title that did it, or both. Because I know like Mr. Beast has spent like fucking $1 million on a thumbnail before.
Yeah,
and then made several million off the video. But I know the title and the thumbnail both have a lot to do with how it does on YouTube.
And the title can also help out a lot.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I just thought that was interesting. So we have to find different animals for you to scare. But another thing, speaking of animals getting scared, apparently at Yellowstone, this article I read, some guy got pinned by a bison. Like pinned to the ground.
Huh.
Apparently he decided, I'm going to go over and play with that animal. I guess in the article it said, people seem to think that they're cuddly, so they try to get close to them. They are not cuddly.
That's like
I've never looked at a bison and gone, you know what? I want to go give that fucking thing a hug.
That's like saying that about elk.
Yeah.
Like, this thing is like 9.5 feet tall, has antlers wider than your wingspan, and you want to go feed it a carrot.
Yeah, no. I'll throw a carrot.
They're beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
If perfect setting.
Stay away. Stay a distance.
Yeah, I'd like to ride an elk. That'd be dope.
Oh, yeah. I'd like to ride a bison.
However, there's this thing I have called intelligence.
Yeah, well, that's not common. That's not everywhere. Not everybody has that.
And I think we talked about this a while ago, too. It was right around the time that those 2 or 3 people in the kayak got eaten by the whale.
Yeah.
I think right around that time, there was 2 or 3 women, I want to say it was by Yellowstone, that like got smashed by a bison, like between that bison and a car, because they were trying to go pet it.
Yeah,
the same thing. Like, stop.
I'm not telling people what to do, but I strongly urge people, don't try to go pet a bison. And if you see a baby bison, I know it looks cute, don't try to touch that either, because it's probably got parents nearby.
Yeah.
And bison are the biggest.
Way to pet a bison, go to a lodge near Yellowstone, or near somewhere that probably Montana or.
They probably have a head
wherever.
on the wall.
Exactly. You'll either find like a museum that has a full fucking sized stuffed bison that you can pet because it's fucking dead.
Yeah.
Or find a head on the wall on a plaque, and then just pet that.
And listen, even if you go to a museum that has a full one, don't try to knock it over because it might fall on you. So
I would hope it's secured.
Yeah, I would hope so too. But I'm just saying, might as well be safe.
I heard something.
Yeah, I hear something.
I don't know if it's a garbage truck or what.
It's got garbage. So, but I do have a picture of the
I don't know.
Of the bison. I'll show it to you before you after we finish the episode. I figure I put the picture. We can put it on the Facebook.
Yeah.
And then I also I saw something else, another nature thing. As we talked about Burning Man last week. But apparently, because of the rain and stuff, there were some things in the ground that were dormant. They call them dinosaur shrimp. And they sit there dormant for years and years until water in the desert, yeah. And then when water comes, they come out, they do their thing, then they go dormant again until the conditions are right again. And they showed a picture. I have a picture of that too.
They're like cicadas.
They're kind of like that, but I mean, like I've seen things like this with like fish in a desert. That they'll be the the eggs will be in the desert ground for years until it finally rains again, and then you got these fish swimming around and laying more eggs until the next time. And then after the water goes away, all of the animals go in and eat their carcasses.
So it's not hard for me to believe because I know that a lot of stuff can hibernate and like just live for a very long time. But this means that dragons could be real. You just have to find a dragon egg.
Yeah, that's what they did in Game of Thrones.
Exactly.
Found dragon eggs.
Yeah, you just have to find one, and then you can just figure out what to do.
Yeah. Try to hatch it.
As long as somebody doesn't like, oh, I bet it's a geode, and then fucking break it.
Yeah, break it open.
That is weird.
Yeah.
It looks like those little, like, scuttle crab things.
Reminds me of a horseshoe crab.
That one.
Yep. But yeah, I thought it was kind of cool.
That's pretty big. It was filling out like the guy's whole hand.
Yeah. I figure I'll put that on Facebook after we put the episode out as also.
Wow.
But yeah, I thought that
just sleeping in the fucking silt at Black Rock.
Yep. Just sitting, just waiting for the perfect opportunity to.
That's weird.
I just hope that, all those people out there making a mess didn't fuck up those dinosaur shrimp.
I mean, what were they going to do?
Step on them?
No, not the people, the shrimp. What are the shrimp going to do?
Oh, I don't know.
Wake up and then die?
Pretty much. But you want to give them a chance to be able to, lay some more eggs so that the next one's going to wake up and die. It's a circle of life.
That's called a circle of death, Mike.
Yes. But then again, see, if all those people weren't there, the circle of life, something was going to go in there and eat the carcasses of these dinosaur shrimp. Circle of life.
What's going to eat? There's nothing out there.
Birds. I don't know. I haven't been out there.
2 vultures, 1 coyote.
There you go. I bet that's an ugly coyote, too.
It probably is.
Coyote ugly.
Yeah.
So, did you hear about...
Wiley's retarded brother.
Yeah. He's not a super genius.
Forgot. We can't say retarded.
Yeah, I was going to say that, but I...
Special brother.
Yeah.
Oops. Oh, well.
He took the short bus to try to catch the Roadrunner. So, did you hear about the latest news on the Tupac shooting? There's actually new news.
No, I definitely have not heard.
Well, there was a Crip gang member who, in a book and on online interviews, said that he admitted to having something to do with it. Like, admitted to helping hunt him down and giving the gun to the guy who shot Tupac.
I thought they knew... Maybe I don't know that much about it, because I thought they knew, like, who killed him and what
Well, they have a suspect. The guy's named Orlando something. I can't remember the last name, but yeah.
Not Bloom, probably.
No. Now, as far as I know, Orlando Bloom was never a member of the Crips. So I'm assuming that, no, it was not him. But now, since he came out and he said all this stuff, Metro has been amassing evidence, and there's a good chance that this guy's actually going to get convicted, going to get charged with murder. Because he came out with this book and he basically said he did it.
Well, from what you just said, it sounds like he's an accomplice. He's
an accomplice, but they're putting a case together to go after this guy.
Well, if they go after him for fucking murder, they're not going to succeed, because if he's an accomplice or accomplice after the fact,
but they might have evidence that we don't know about. But I'm just saying that's what they're looking for, is getting him on murder. Because obviously, if I were to come out with a book and I had committed a crime, I'm not going to say that I did the main part of it. Yeah. I'm not going to be like, so. Well,
and it's a lot different. Like what a lot of the mafia or the mob guys that come out and like have their books and stories and movies and TV shows and whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, they keep it roughly vague enough. Like, I feel like they have several lawyers they talk to before they do fucking anything.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
Maybe do that.
Yeah.
Because there's no statute of limitations for murder. At all. Like, you could do...
Oh, I know, there's none.
You could, if you live to 130, you killed somebody when you were 30, and you said at 129 years old, yeah, remember that guy that nobody knew who killed him? That was me. They'll arrest you at 129 and indict you and sentence you, because it doesn't matter. There's no statute of limitations.
No statute at all. But the other thing is, you see, now think about this. It's been 27 years since Tupac.
Yeah.
So this guy's 27 years older than he was back then, you know. So,
Yeah.
so coming out with this information, let's say he does get charged with murder. There's a strong chance he's never seen outside of prison again after that.
Yeah.
So I hope the book was worth it. But I saw the article and this guy was saying he's really stupid for doing this.
I mean, unless at the beginning of the book it has like the South Park disclaimer that says like this is all fiction and like any similarities or likenesses were absolutely on accident or whatever.
Well, he would have had to done that on all of his interviews too, on his online interviews.
Unless he just references the book, then technically.
That's true.
But yeah, either way, that's definitely not the brightest thing to do.
And tomorrow there's a comet coming.
Comet.
Comet, the green comet.
Green.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, we're getting hit by Krypton, huh?
Yeah, finally.
About fucking time.
Yeah, I've been waiting for that shit.
I finished Superman and Lois.
It might weaken me for a little bit, but I'll be alright. But no, it's supposed to be like it's supposed to be visible, like early in the morning, in the northern hemisphere, and it's going to be 78 million miles away.
That's pretty close.
Yeah. I was thinking, why do I have to look out? Why do I have to look at it? Why don't I just drive to it? Can I just get there? But I guess it hasn't been here in like 4 centuries. I don't know. I didn't do the math, but some smart guy figured out when the last time it was here.
Yeah, I'll be in Vegas tomorrow. Well, tonight.
But it'll be like right. It'll be before the sun comes up.
I might have to set an alarm. Try to look for it. But yeah, so I already told you about it.
But they usually go by twice. Comets.
What?
Comets. They usually go by twice because they're going past us as they go around their orbit, because they usually go around the sun.
Yeah.
And then on the way back, you see them a second time.
Well, I mean, depending on how far the elliptical orbit is.
Yeah, I'm just saying. But previous comets that I've known about, that's the way they've done it.
I mean, yeah, technically they'll all go past again. It's just when.
Yeah.
This time it happens to be 400 years.
And I'm not even sure where this one came. Like, I don't know if this one came from the Kuiper Belt or, I mean...
Came from space.
Yeah, I know, but there's different types of comets and where they go and where they come from. Like, the Kuiper Belt is full of comets.
Is it full of comets or full of asteroids?
Both. I just finished astrophysics for people in a hurry recently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that was actually very interesting. And back to the mafia, I just finished Michael Franzi's book recently, too.
Who?
Michael Franzi's. I've talked about him before. He's the one who does the critique of mob movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read his book, and wow. Some of the things he did, that was quite impressive. He earned being a capo. He had a thing. It was a gasoline scam involving, they were selling gas to all these people and they weren't paying taxes. Like they had a tax, and they were making millions, just millions. Gas stations up and down the East Coast.
So they were selling gas and not paying tax on the gas, or not?
Not paying tax on the gas.
How do you do that?
He would be able to describe it better than I can. It's hard to explain, but yeah, he made millions doing it. That's what he got. That's what he got convicted of.
Well, I guess it wasn't until I think it was like 1974 that they didn't start like withdrawing taxes from people's paychecks.
Bastards.
So I might be wrong on the year, but they definitely for a while didn't deduct it from your paycheck. Like you had to pay it at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just keeps going.
Yeah.
Keeps going.
But like I said, he did that, and then like he didn't turn on anybody. He didn't go into witness protection. He didn't He wasn't a snitch.
Yeah.
He told a story about because he actually went to prison a couple times. And he said one of the prisons he was in, because they moved him around. But one of the prisons he was in, Henry Hill was in it.
I don't know who that is either.
Henry Hill was from Goodfellas. He's the main character of Goodfellas.
Okay.
And Henry Hill saw him in there, and he freaked out because he actually turned people in. So he was a snitch, but he couldn't keep himself out of trouble, so he still ended up in prison.
Yeah.
So he's freaking out. So I guess a warden called Franz E Sin, and he's like, all right, and so this guy saw you. He's concerned you're going to hurt him. Franz E Sin's like, I'm turning my life around. I have nothing to do with this.
I'm just doing my time.
I'm just doing my time. I just want to get out of here. I don't want to have any. But I guess Henry Hill didn't take that as an answer, so he was like, they moved him. Like within a couple of days, moved him to a different prison.
Huh.
Because he was really scared that somebody was going to try to kill him. I would imagine. But also, Michael Franz E Sin in the book said that he was friends with Jimmy Burke, which is who Robert De Niro played in the movie Goodfellas.
Okay.
So you could see why maybe he might want to,
Yeah, it definitely makes sense.
Because Jimmy Burke actually died in prison because of him, turning him in. I mean, I'm not saying he died in prison because he turned him in. I mean, he did things that sent him to prison, but
yeah, he went to prison because he turned him in.
He closed the door for him, And that was actually he was another one that was a good earner. That it sounds like from one. Like he was part of the biggest airport heist in history. Millions of dollars stolen from an airport in New York.
That was the
Kanza heist. Is what it was called, I think.
It was when they were like gonna ship out like all the money to get shredded or something, right?
Something like that.
Stole all that. There's a movie about that. I don't remember what it's called, but it was really good.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a huge heist.
Speaking of airports, I did something new. This trip to Vegas, I accidentally booked backwards. So I booked a flight from Vegas to Reno and then Reno to Vegas at the end of it. So this morning when I went to check in, I clicked through everything and I'm like, wait.
That's not right.
I'm pretty sure that said Vegas to Reno. And that's not the direction I'm traveling today. Tomorrow. It's supposed to be in the morning. So I look and I'm like, yep, sure as shit, it's backwards. I'm like, fuck. Like I've never had to change a flight or do this or do that. I'm like, I don't know how the fuck to do it. So I log into the Spirit app on their website and there's like a change flight button. I'm like, okay, so I try that. There's a drop down, you can click whatever city, and it doesn't have Reno. I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm like trying to figure out and like do the chat and like, okay, you have to uncheck in first. So I unchecked in and then this, then that. So I'm waiting on hold. I call them. I'm waiting on hold and trying to figure it out. And it turns out, I'm like, I bet they did something stupid like this because it has two drop downs, Vegas to Reno. So I just clicked like a random city on both and then opened both again. And now both have both. So if one of the two says Reno, you can't put Reno in the other one. And if one of the two has Vegas, you can't put Vegas in the other one. Yeah. You can't fly from Vegas to Vegas.
Yeah.
So like once I figured that out, I'm like, okay. So I switched the flight from tomorrow morning to tonight and then switched the other one to fucking actually go from Vegas to Reno to come back.
Yeah.
And so I get the email confirmation and finally somebody answers the phone like right when I'm about to hit go.
Yeah.
And they're like, how can I help you? And I don't know when, I think we talked about this a little bit, but I don't know when it happened that most of the customer service switched from India to the Philippines.
I have no idea.
A lot of customer service has switched from India call centers to Filipino call centers.
Yeah.
So it took forever. Heavy Filipino accent, answers the phone. Pretty good English, but definitely heavy accent.
Yeah.
And they're like, how can I help you? So I explain everything, and they're like, okay, so like, what do you want me to change? And I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure I got it. Like right when you answered the phone, I was able to figure it out, and like, so I already hit accept. So she's like, okay, so I see that it says from Reno to Vegas and then Vegas to Reno, so you need that the other way around. I'm like, no. If that's how it is now, leave it like that, because that means I already changed it and I fixed it. So I ended up paying an extra like $230 because I accidentally fucked it up in the first place.
Yeah.
So it went from a $60 round trip to a $290 round trip because I didn't pay attention.
Yeah, that sucks.
Well, I mean, it's still, like, if I was with diesel prices.
Yeah, diesel prices are shit right now.
It's $5 a gallon.
I know.
It's gone up like 80 cents in the last month and a half. And gas has gone up 15-20 cents.
Thanks,
That's
Obama.
So if I was to drive, it's 14 hours or 14 and a half-ish hours there and back. So there's almost a full day. And then diesel, I still would have to drive my Mercedes because I still haven't gotten the Passat aligned again.
Yeah.
So 40 miles to the gallon, 900 miles total. It would be, what is that, 25 gallons?
Yeah.
So it would be like $130, $140. I think that math is right. Yeah, like 130-ish in diesel there and back. So $150 is what I would save. But it's 14 hours. So that's $10 an hour.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's still worth it to fly.
Yeah. Your time is worth more than $10 an hour.
Yeah.
You get paid more than that at work, so yeah.
Yeah.
Time is money.
But yeah, so I've been looking at so much business stuff recently, like figuring out a bunch of everything. I've been reading books nonstop.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff I'm working on switching to and implementing and changing mindsets about, and that's nice.
Yeah.
Actually doing lots of thinking again instead of just like brain off coasting.
It's a good thing to do.
I did that for a long fucking time.
Welcome back.
Thanks. Yeah, so there's a bunch of books that I've read. Robert Kiyosaki has a lot of good books. He's this Japanese guy that grew up in Hawaii. He's the one that wrote Rich Dad Poor Dad. Yeah. And lots of really good ideas and like the way of looking at money and this and that, and that's fucking
nice.
I think it's a game changer. So working on a lot of stuff. Yeah. Yeah. You have any other notes?
I bought some lottery tickets. I did it's not one of my notes, but I was watching something late last night, and I was impressed by this. This company made some kind of body armor that actually stopped a black tip 50 BMG, which is a armor piercing.
Wow.
And he had it up, but the only thing is I still wouldn't want to get hit by it because.
Well, yeah, it would fucking hurt.
No, it did more than hurt. They had the plate on a ballistics dummy with
yeah.
It had the gelatin shit that they use, and it had the organs on the inside. And after they took the plate off, you could see like the liver was definitely bleeding. It didn't have a hole, but yeah,
the organs were all ruptured just from the pressure.
You could see like it had green blood from the.
Wow.
And like 7 ribs were broken.
I mean, yeah.
So yeah, but it still stopped it. But yeah, I still wouldn't want to have that.
Yeah, absolutely not.
No, that would not be pleasant. But they also hit it with a black tip, an armor piercing incendiary, and that one went right through it.
Did they hit the same spot or a different plate?
It was a different plate, brand new plate.
Huh.
Like when they hit it they hit it in the same spot with another round, and it went right through. The second one went through, but it's not for multiple hits.
Yeah.
If you get hit once with a 50 BMG, maybe you might want to move. Yeah.
That's pretty good advice there, Mike.
Yeah.
Should be a professional advice giver. If you get shot, you might want to have not been there in the first place, but you definitely want to move now.
Yeah, you definitely, because
you're already laying down? Yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I guess he's dead.
You had to see this ballistics dummy when they shot it again at the end of the video, not with a plate on it, and he shot its head. Holy fuck. He shot it with the I think it was just a regular 50. And it just fucking exploded.
Did it look like, was it you that posted a video of the 9 mils going through the eggs?
Yes, I did.
It looked like that?
Yeah, kind of like that, yeah.
Yeah. How I imagine it would look.
Yeah, it was crazy. And they did it slow-mo and they did it at regular speed. It was nuts. Yeah, it's my favorite YouTube channel. It's Demolition Ranch.
Yeah.
I've been watching it for years. Love it. But he had Brandon Herrera on, the AK guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he also had Donut Operator on. And speaking of Brandon Herrera, apparently he had a boxing match recently. An amateur boxing match. But they had regulation, boxing gloves. They had... and he'd never really boxed before. Like, he took a 6-week course before going in this match. And the original person he was going to face ended up, for some reason, was not able to fight.
So who'd he fight?
He fought another guy and ended up knocking him out in the 3rd round.
Nice.
So it's pretty cool. And he's running for Congress now, too. So we can have the AK guy in Congress.
That'd be good.
Yeah, that'd be good for us. I like his videos, too. He's really good.
I don't know if I'd be able to recognize him if I saw him.
I watched so many videos. But they had an influencer boxing match, so they take influencers and they have them box. So
yeah.
So I thought, I know somebody who wants to do some boxing. So we need to get you in a boxing match. Get us some.
I've been losing weight. I've lost I think 20 pounds in the last 4 months.
We need to get you in there.
I mean, I think a 6-week-ish boxing course would be fine.
You were supposed to spar with Scott. Whatever happened with that?
I don't know.
And you were supposed to spar with Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy was. I don't know if he was serious about it or not, but
there was somebody else who talked about it. But I was like, yeah, you're just gonna get knocked out. So.
I think the one with Scott was supposed to happen. It was supposed to happen a couple weeks ago Sunday, but I don't know if he wanted right after work or after a nap. And then I was like, well, I'm gonna get a mouth guard first, and he's like, I don't care. I'm like, okay, well, I do. I like my teeth. Yeah.
Well, I remember. I'd even asked him. I was like, so you're gonna spar with Jeremy? And he said, yeah, it looks like it.
But yeah, so we were gonna do in the backyard, but it used to be a lot cushionier back there, but now it's just a desolate wasteland of dead weeds.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's the best option anymore.
Well, I told him when we were talking about it, I said, you guys need to get some video on it so we can use it to promote our channel.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. Just might see if he's still serious about it and do it in a couple weeks.
Yeah. I can't remember where I think they might have boxed in Tennessee or something. Yeah, I'm sure it was an undercard for something else.
Yeah.
And the one was from California, and Brandon Herrera lives in San Antonio now. Oh no, or is it Austin? He lives in Texas. There's a lot
of people moving to Texas.
Yeah, I thought about it once.
There's a lot of people moving to Texas.
I thought about going to Austin.
It's more expensive than Reno.
At the time I thought of it, it wasn't. Texas, there's some good things in Texas.
There's some decent things in Texas.
And I could be...
I think it's funny, that's every year, I feel like for the past 4 years, they've been like, oh my God, it's so hot. It's 103.
Yeah.
And they're like, our power grid can't handle it. I'm like, you guys have had this same issue for decades, and you still don't know how to fucking do anything about it?
Well, they had a genius idea where they changed the power grid, and it was all Texas-only power grid, and then when they got hit, they didn't have anything to back it up.
Well, so the initial reason they wanted to do that was because, less government kind of shit, which is a good idea.
Yeah.
But then they skimped on the quality and didn't really regulate and inspect and do everything they needed to.
Yeah.
for an actual power grid kind of shit.
But now they have a virtual power grid.
And what?
Yeah, it has to do with megapacks and
Oh,
power
okay.
walls and shit like that.
But the other thing about it is, like, I've seen videos of like people driving when it's 105-ish, and I'm sure pretty high humidity. You can see like the asphalt sticking to the tires of people driving.
Yeah,
and,
I've seen that.
Then they use a different asphalt. Like, look at Vegas and Phoenix.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen there. Maybe if it's like freshly paved within like an hour.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll happen. But like that's if heat did that to all asphalt, Vegas and Phoenix would not have roads.
No, they would not.
They would all be stuck to somebody's tires.
Yeah. I remember one day I was walking in Vegas and it was a hot day, and I know I was headed someplace. I was gonna go get my hair cut. I was gonna get lunch, and it wasn't far, so I was walking, and I decided to, instead of walking on the sidewalk, to cut through a parking lot.
Yeah.
And the parking lot's made out of asphalt. Holy fuck! It was so hot when I walked across that parking lot. When I was on the sidewalk, it wasn't so bad. But when I was walking,
like, if you walk on some of the like the patch lines, like when there's all the cracks in it, and they just run past and like put the asphalt gum, whatever the fuck they call it, like that shit'll actually like melt-ish and like stick to your shoes and
yeah,
your
I
tires
avoid
if it's
that.
hot enough.
I avoid not stepping on that.
But that's one of the reasons that Vegas is so hot at night, is how much asphalt there is in Vegas.
Yeah, because it radiates the heat back up.
Yeah, so it absorbs the heat all fucking day, and then at midnight, 2 a.m, it's still 95 degrees.
When I was working the
because
World
of the
Series of
asphalt.
Poker, I would look at the weather as I'd be working and see it was still 100 degrees at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. Because the asphalt is just a heater.
Yeah.
It absorbs it all and then keeps it.
Yeah.
And then gives it back. Here you go.
Gives it back at night.
Heard you wanted this.
I remember I went to a baseball game in Anaheim. We went to a night game, and it had been hot every night in Vegas, and I didn't bring a hoodie or a jacket or anything. And I'm in Anaheim, and I actually started to feel a little bit cold. I almost wish I had a hoodie. So like, holy shit, I forgot it. It doesn't stay 100 degrees in other cities after midnight.
And that was one of the biggest changes for me in Reno, is like sometimes there's a 40 or 50 degree swing because it doesn't keep the heat.
Yeah.
Like it can get up to like 90, 93-ish, and it'll get down to like 50.
Yeah.
Like that's a crazy spread.
Yeah, that doesn't happen in Vegas.
I mean, I guess it still can do like 30 to 40 degrees in Vegas, but it's normally like 80 to 120.
Yeah. I remember in the winter sometimes, like when I had to get up early in the morning, I would actually see on the side of the road there'd be some ice. Like if there was water in the right off the road, you'd see ice along that. But
Here or Vegas?
in Vegas,
Yeah.
but it wouldn't last, obviously.
Yeah, there was a couple times when I worked at FedEx. What year was that? I think it was like 2008, 2009. It was a pretty cold. It wasn't 08 because I worked at the college then. So it had to have been 09, right before I went to Arizona. I had a street bike as the only mode of transportation, and it was cold.
Yeah.
I think it got down to like 28 or 29 that winter. So I'd get on my street bike. I'd have basketball shorts, jeans, an A-frame, a T-shirt, a hoodie, and then my motorcycle jacket, a balaclava, and then my helmet. And then I'd get on my bike and do like 160 on the freeway to get there quicker. And like it was cold, like numbingly cold.
Yeah. I remember it was 2011. I was getting up early in the morning and driving over and taking my friend's kids to school for her. And I would see ice on the ground on the way.
Yeah.
I remember one day an unfortunate event happened. We were driving on Eastern near St. Rose, and I remember I see this guy. He's walking up towards the curb, and he keeps getting closer and closer to. And this is Eastern,
Yeah.
so it's and the speed limit there's 45. So you know people are not going 45; they're going faster than that.
Yeah.
And he keeps walking up like he's going to try to cross the street. And I said to the people, I'm like, this could be bad. So I dropped them off at the high school. I go back. I'm driving down the street, and I see that same guy being on a gurney put on an ambulance.
Wow.
Yeah, he apparently the crosswalk was 20 feet away, but no, he knew better. Yeah, so he got smacked hard.
Yeah, that was a lot of the people at FedEx were shocked by, like, they're like, you go how fast on your bike? I'm like, yeah, like, isn't that cold? I'm like, yeah, it's cold, but the sooner I get here, the sooner I warm up.
Yeah.
Because then I would take everything off except for the basketball shorts and the A-frame and throw boxes. And it's basically an open warehouse because there's so many trucks and bay doors and everything.
Yeah.
Like, everybody else is bundled up in hoodies and pajama pants, and, like, they have to stay warm. I'm over here in a basketball short and tank top. Like, okay. Like, just throw them. They're like, you're not cold? I'm like, no, cold was on the way here. This is nice.
See, when I worked at the Mercedes dealership, I'd get there early in the morning, and when I'd first start, open up all the bays and everything, it'd be cold, a little bit cold, so I'd have like a hoodie on.
Yeah.
And then we put a space heater in the garage. The guy brought one out for us to use, and within a couple hours, my hoodie was off, and I'm just wearing
Yeah.
But he comes out and he sees that the heater's off. He's like, why is the heater off? We spent money to give you guys a heater. And I'm like, well, because it's not cold anymore. It was cold for the first hour.
I want you guys to run that year round because I bought it.
Now, during when it was still hot, shit, we had an air conditioner sort of in that garage.
Yeah.
But yeah, it didn't work great. But
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious because there was several times like they made, oh, are you from Alaska? I'm like, no, that guy is. And point to one of the guys that has like the hoodie on with the hood up and like, he's cold. I'm like, no, that guy's from Alaska.
Yeah.
They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, I've been in Vegas for like 15 years.
People are often surprised that it actually gets cool there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not huge cool, but
it's
cool.
a weird cool cold. Like
Yeah.
it's not normal. Because like up here, I can wear basketball shorts and a t-shirt when it's like 50 degrees outside, and I'm fine. I'm happy about it. In Vegas, it's like 68, and I'm like, where's a hoodie? Like, it's a weird cold.
Well, when I would start the day, it was usually a little over freezing, in between 34, 35 degrees and 40 or 45. So yeah, I'd usually have a hoodie when I'd set up the place to start the day.
Nice. We're almost at an hour. I think we can wrap up so I can get ready to go to
It
Vegas.
was actually a pretty good job working at the Mercedes. But of course, I didn't have to deal with customers anymore.
Yeah.
I just did my job. Somebody else had to talk to customers. So if they were upset, they were getting upset with somebody else, not me. So that was nice, for a change. Because for a long time, I was, waiting tables, bartending.
Yeah.
You deal directly
Very
with people.
customer centric.
And sometimes some people are not the best people.
Yeah, that's why I stopped working retail.
Yeah. That's why I don't really want to go back to waiting tables.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
People don't know what they ordered. Sometimes mistakes are made. I'll admit it. I'm not perfect. I've made a mistake or two. Of course, more people have made mistakes on my food than I've made on theirs.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are about an hour. We're at 59 minutes.
Yep.
By the time you get done telling all the information about it'll be an hour.
Good. Like and share, comment, interact, do stuff.
We're talking to you, Brandon.
Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Some Offense Intended, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, at Some Offense Pod. YouTube, just search Some Offense Intended, and I'm sure it'll pop up.
You can Google search us.
Yeah, Google. That's a motorcycle. I thought it was the fan downstairs for a second.
Damn.
Yeah, just Google search Some Offense Intended podcast, and it'll definitely pop up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, share, follow, subscribe, do stuff, and let us know if there's something to talk about. Because one of the guys at work is the one that told me about the land grab, the Oprah conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
I definitely have to read into that.
See, a lot of things I've been hearing about Oprah, which will have to be another episode. There are other things that are not good. There's some controversy involving her and The Rock.
Well, we'll dig into that.
All right.
Talk to you next time. Goodbye.